So today we'll be covering some of the tips and tricks in Tableau. So here if you see the first one, so what we are basically trying to do is, this is sample superstores data again. Like if you see, we have each customer name and when they place the first order and how we are going to capture the second order, and we are seeing like what is the difference or between or gap between the first order and second order, like with the gap of how many days they are placing. This should be the first one. And second one is basically sheet swapping using parameters. So currently if you see, I have just clicked subcategory. We are viewing the sales by subcategory. If we change it to category, then we will have some other sheet showing the sales by category colored by some other metric. So this we will see like how to do this. Even you can see the titles are dynamic. So sheet swapping using parameter. And third one is basically the calendar widget. So as you might be aware, like we have filters. So here if you see, like based on the year or month you select, we will have the calendar and you can select for any specific date, and you can see the filtering action. This is the third one. And next one what we have today is, this is basically the comparative sales. So let's say we are selecting any particular subcategory. Here we are able to see like how the other categories are performing in terms of sales related to the subcategory which is selected by the user. So this is the fourth one, and last one we have spark lines. So let's get started and we'll go on by one. So quickly let me open a new notebook. Try to sample superstores. Okay, let's get started with the first one. How to capture the second order date of customer. So currently I have pulled in the customer name and the order date. So generally how we capture the first order date is by using load is. So at each customer level, we will try to get the minimum of order date. So that would give us the first order date. And so this to be so this is basically the first order date. Now our second goal is to capture the second order date. How we do that is, again, same customer level. If order date is greater than my first order date, so here in this calculation, what we are trying to do is, we are just searching for each order date. If it is greater than the first order date, basically here what happens is, with the list of dates, it will compare like 18 Feb 2018. Is it greater? So it is no. So it will just move on to the second one, and it keeps on checking. And whatever dates satisfies this condition, on top of this, we are just pulling only the minimum. So in this case, we will be able to pull in the second order date for each customer. So if you observe, like now we got the second order date for each customer. Similarly, if you want, the third order date, again, how we go with that is, if you open the second order date calculated field, here we are doing the comparison basically with the first order date. Instead of first order date, here we got to replace it with second order date. In that case, we will be able to get or capture the third order date for each customer. So this is how we capture, the order. Similarly, like how many you want, you can write that many calculated fields and extract each of them. Now, since we have both the days, just to get the difference between them, or like what is the gap, we can use date diff function. It will give us, what is the difference in number of days. And start date would be the first order date, and end date would be the second order date. So this is basically giving us the difference between the first and second order date. So this is the first one. We will quickly move on to the second one, the comparative analysis one. So let me put in the subcategory on sales. Let me sort it. So basically, if you look at that example, we are basically giving the user the functionality to select the particular subcategory. This we are achieving using the parameters. So let me create parameter with subcategory. Okay. Now we will write some calculated fields just to arrive at the numbers. So currently we will just use the selected sales. What this calculated fields does is, based on the parameter the user selects, it's going to return the sales for that particular subcategory. Okay. So now the challenge is basically, if you want to do the difference, what happens with accessories category, since we have the selected sales value, this difference will give us 0, but for the rest of the subcategories, this selected sales is not getting manipulated. Just to manipulate this value for all subcategories, we will use exclude LOD. So exclude subcategory, some selected sales. So now if you see this particular value, the 1,67,000, it's kind of getting manipulated for all of the subcategories. Now, if we just do the difference between the sum sales and the exclude selected category sales, we are going to get the difference. We got the difference. Maybe we can remove some of the fields which is not relevant to the view. This one. Let's synchronize the axis, and we don't want any color for sales, let it be blank. And selected sales, do this. Okay. So let's color this difference based on the magnitude. Yeah. Now based on subcategory whichever you select, it subtracts the sales happened in the selected subcategory with the rest, and in that way we'll be able to see like which categories or which subcategories performing best, and even we can give the user the flexibility to select the subcategory, so it will kind of change and it's dynamic. So this is the second one. And okay, let me move on to the third one, which is nothing but the calendar widget. So So basically the filter widget, whichever I showed, that is only a Tableau like sheet. Unlike the other, though this doesn't come under the default filter. So let's first create that filter sheet. So let me pull in the order date. Okay. By default, it should be a single select since we are showing the calendar for each month here. So select drop down. Okay. Also, we don't need this all button because it is not relevant here since we are showing the calendar sheet for each month. Okay. Next. So based on the month and year we select, we have the calendar accordingly. Little bit of formatting. Okay. And maybe let me color it based on sales. Yeah. So in that way, if the user wants to see, let's say in 14 or 20, like we have maximum sales, if he wants to tap in and view the trend or the entire dashboard to be filtered for that particular date, we can just do that. Now let's quickly create some visualization just to put them together in the dashboard. So we got to pull in the sheet 3. And let's remove the filter. Okay. Now just to ensure the filtering actions happen, so you can just select here and click on this one. But again, this filtering action should not be there for sales trend, because we want sales trend to be kind of showing for the entire data set. So let's go to dashboard actions, edit, and let's uncheck the sales trend. Okay. So now based on the change here, this calendar will reflect, and if you want to click on any tab in view particular day, you can just select and view in that way. So the advantage of this is here we can see the gradient tells us like in which day of the month the sales has been the best. And yeah, so this is about the third tip. Now we will move on to the next one, swapping sheets using parameters. So let's say we have two sheets, one sales page of category. Let me duplicate this one. Category. Again, to achieve this, just to get the user input, we will just use the parameter actions. Okay, let me create a parameter. String and list. Create calculated field. So if Q by is equal to category. Sorry. Now we will pull this field to filter. We'll just select true. Let's say if we select subcategory, now this sheet will become empty. So yeah, let's move to subcategory. I will pull this here. I'll select true. Now let's say if I select category, this sheet will become blank. Now we got to put both of them in a single dashboard. So again, one more thing we have to just take care of. So here we are not supposed to, show the titles. We got to hide the titles again. So the reason why we have to do that is, let's say since we are swapping the sheets using the parameters, so if we put the title by default, though the sheet is empty or blank, we'll be able to view the sheet title. That's why when we are doing this sheet swapping, we have to ensure the titles are removed. Maybe if you want to insert a title separately, you can use a separate sheet saying, and you can insert on top of this. So based on the same, based on the parameter you select, the sheet swapping will happen. Maybe in the interest of time, let's close here. We will look at the other tips in the next session. Yeah.